All right, so every time I think we've seen it all, another studio pops up like, hey, here's an open world game that'll eat the next 200 hours of your life. And honestly, I'm not even mad. So today we're checking out 20 of the most anticipated open world games that are shaping up to be absolute time stealers. So let's get into it. Samson: A Tindleston Story is the debut title from Swedish studio Liquid Swords, founded by Christopher Sundberg, the creator of Just Cause and former Avalanche Studios head. Designed as a consequence-heavy noir action game, it immerses players in the unforgiving city of Tindleston, where debt, desperation, and survival define every choice. The narrative follows Samson, a man crushed under relentless financial pressure, forced to brawl, race, and claw his way through a city that punishes hesitation. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the game emphasizes raw physical combat, high-stakes driving, and systemic gameplay where every decision carries irreversible consequences. The developers, veterans of Just Cause and Mad Max, promise a gritty, cinematic experience that blends open-world exploration with mechanics simulating mounting debt and escalating danger, ensuring tension at every turn. A Tindleston Story is scheduled to release in early 2026 exclusively on PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store. Varsapura is Hoyoverse's newly unveiled flagship open-world RPG, revealed in late 2025 with a 31-minute gameplay demo that showcased its ambitious scope and darker tone compared to the studio's earlier titles like Genshin Impact and Zenless Zone Zero. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the game departs from Hoyoverse's usual anime-inspired aesthetic, presenting a more grounded cinematic style set in a futuristic city plagued by a mysterious affliction known as mind rot. Players take on the role of a recruit joining SEAL, a bureau tasked with investigating and combating this spreading menace, blending narrative-driven missions with dynamic combat, exploration, and survival systems. Early footage highlights fluid traversal, high-fidelity environments, and combat mechanics that combine melee and ranged abilities with tactical decision-making, while emphasizing consequence-heavy storytelling. With its mix of sci-fi intrigue, systemic gameplay, and emotional depth, Varsapura is positioned as Hoyoverse's most ambitious project yet. Varsapura currently has no confirmed release date, but it is expected to launch on PC, mobile, and potentially consoles. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties Remake is Ryuga Gotoku Studios' ambitious 2-in-1 project celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. More than a simple remake, Kiwami 3 is a full reimagining of the 2009 classic, rebuilt with modern visuals, expanded storylines, and refined combat systems to bring Kazuma Kiryu's Okinawa arc and his bond with Haruka into sharper emotional focus. Alongside it comes Dark Ties, a brand new spin-off centered on antagonist Yoshitaka Mine, exploring his rise and moral descent in a standalone narrative that deepens the series' lore. Director Masayoshi Yokoyama confirmed that the remake contains major hints about the franchise's future direction, while Dark Ties introduces fresh mechanics and a darker tone, making the bundle both a nostalgic revival and a bold step forward. Together, the package offers two interconnected experiences, one revisiting Kiryu's legacy and one forging new ground in the criminal underworld. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties Remake will release worldwide on February 12, 2026 for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. Blackwood is a cinematic third-person noir action thriller developed by Atredo M7 Productions, the Dhaka-based studio behind Zero Hour. Set in 2012 New York, the game follows Anton Blackwood, a humble DVD store owner by day and a ruthless contract killer by night, caught between fleeting moments of normalcy and the violent underworld that constantly drags him back. The narrative explores duality and morality, highlighting Anton's struggle to balance human connection with his deadly profession. Gameplay emphasizes tense melee combat, environmental takedowns, and high-speed chases through neon-lit streets, blending responsive mechanics with cinematic storytelling. Early footage reveals a gripping prologue where Anton is cornered by the mob, forcing players to navigate both brutal confrontations and quieter, character-driven sequences. With its gritty atmosphere, emotional depth, and focus on consequence-heavy choices, Blackwood aims to deliver a grounded yet stylish thriller experience. Blackwood is scheduled to release in Q3 2026 exclusively on PC via Steam.
Put some ice on it. Good night, Anton.
Stranger Than Heaven is the official title of Project Century, the upcoming action-adventure game from Ryuga Gotoku Studio, the creators of the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series. Announced at Summer Game Fest 2025, the game transports players to a fictionalized Osaka across multiple time periods, with 1915, 1929, and 1943 confirmed, blending historical drama with the studio's signature crime-driven storytelling. The narrative explores shifting eras of Japanese society, weaving together themes of loyalty, betrayal, and survival against the backdrop of neon-lit streets and wartime turmoil. Gameplay footage highlights third-person exploration, cinematic combat, and branching storylines that reflect the player's choices, while the studio promises a more experimental tone compared to its mainline Like a Dragon entries. With its ambitious multi-era setting, Stranger Than Heaven aims to deliver a sweeping, character-driven epic that expands the studio's storytelling beyond Kiryu's saga. Stranger Than Heaven currently has no confirmed release date, but it is expected to launch on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox platforms. Mudang Two Hearts is a narrative-driven stealth action-adventure developed by EVR Studio, revealed at the Xbox Game Showcase 2025. Set in a politically volatile near-future Korean peninsula, the game follows two protagonists whose intertwined destinies explore themes of loyalty, betrayal, and survival in a fractured society. Built with advanced performance capture and Unreal Engine 5, it integrates fluid motion-matched animations, dynamic spatial audio, and intelligent AI to deliver cinematic stealth encounters and brutal combat sequences. Players navigate open-ended levels where choice and consequence shape the narrative, balancing tense infiltration with explosive action. The story emphasizes personal sacrifice against the backdrop of a unified Korea struggling with unrest, blending cultural authenticity with global intrigue. Early previews highlight its atmospheric environments, emotionally charged storytelling, and a harrowing journey that avoids glorification, focusing instead on truth and human resilience. Mudang Two Hearts is scheduled to release in 2026 as an Xbox Play Anywhere title on Xbox Series X and S and PC.
지정퇴.
Agefield High Rock: The School is a coming-of-age adventure game developed by Refugium Games, inspired by the raunchy teen comedies of the early 2000s and often compared to Rockstar's Bully. Players step into the shoes of Sam, a new student at Agefield High who joins friends Kale and Axel in their rebellious Rock the School plan while navigating friendship, love, and the pressures of graduation. The game features a small open-world environment including the school campus, neighborhoods, town center, and countryside, with a time and school system that requires attendance and balancing academics with mischief. Across 32 main missions and 15 side activities, players can choose between two different endings, shaping Sam's legacy as either a rule breaker or a responsible student. With 8 to 10 hours of gameplay, cinematic cutscenes, and a nostalgic soundtrack, the game captures the humor and chaos of teenage rebellion while offering modern mechanics and narrative depth. Agefield High Rock: The School is scheduled to release in Q2 2026 on PC via Steam, with console versions likely to follow.
Perverted teachers. You messed with the wrong one.
Ananta is an upcoming free-to-play urban open-world action RPG developed by Naked Rain and published by NetEase Games, originally revealed as Project Mugen at Gamescom 2023. The name, derived from Sanskrit meaning without end, reflects its ambitious design, a sprawling anime-styled metropolis where players can explore freely, fight enemies, and uncover mysteries across interconnected cities inspired by Japanese, European, and American urban landscapes. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the game features cel-shaded visuals, day-night cycles, and a living world filled with pedestrians, foes, and dynamic events. Players will traverse Nova Inception Urbs, the first city, with fluid parkour mechanics, combat blending melee and ranged abilities, and narrative-driven missions that emphasize freedom and discovery. Unlike many RPGs, Ananta avoids gacha monetization, focusing instead on story depth and player-driven progression. With its vibrant neon streets, cinematic flair, and emphasis on fun and unpredictability, it has been dubbed the anime GTA by fans. Ananta is slated for release in mid-2026 on PC, PlayStation 5, Android, and iOS. Atomic Heart 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to Mundfish's retro-futuristic shooter, officially announced at Summer Game Fest 2025. Building on the alternate history Soviet aesthetic of the original, the game expands its scope to a global stage, introducing surreal new environments such as flying cities, space whales, and an evolved Facility 3826 that now resembles a Soviet Silicon Valley. Gameplay remains rooted in first-person shooting with RPG mechanics, but adds deeper progression systems, skill upgrades, and expanded weapon customization, allowing players to tailor combat strategies against increasingly bizarre robotic and mutant threats. Narrative details suggest a continuation of P3's story while exploring broader geopolitical consequences of the dystopian Soviet experiment, with Munfish promising more choice-driven storytelling and cinematic immersion. Early previews highlight improved AI, dynamic environments, and a more ambitious scale compared to the first game, positioning it as a flagship title in the growing Atomic universe. Atomic Heart 2 is scheduled to release in 2027 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Cinder City is the upcoming post-apocalyptic MMO tactical shooter from NCSoft's Big Fire Games studio, formerly known as Project LLL. Set in a dystopian futuristic version of Seoul, the game blends narrative-driven storytelling with large-scale open-world exploration, offering players a chance to fight through ruined cityscapes, underground complexes, and hostile zones filled with terrifying threats. Built in Unreal Engine 5, it showcases cutting-edge visuals, fluid gunplay, and squad-based mechanics that emphasize cooperation and tactical decision-making. The gameplay trailer revealed at Gamescom 2025 highlighted brutal firefights, raid-style boss encounters, and seamless transitions between narrative missions and open-world combat, positioning the game as a hybrid between MMORPG progression and immersive shooter action. With its mix of cinematic presentation, persistent online systems, and a richly detailed urban wasteland, Cinder City aims to redefine the MMO shooter genre by combining story depth with large-scale multiplayer battles. Cinder City is scheduled to release in 2026 on PC and consoles. Plan 8 is Pearl Abyss's ambitious upcoming exosuit MMO shooter, first revealed at G-Star 2019 and still in active development. Known for their work on Black Desert Online and Crimson Desert, the studio is aiming to merge open-world MMO systems with fast-paced tactical gunplay, all centered around customizable exosuits that grant players unique abilities and traversal options. The game's narrative teases a mysterious frontier of war where humanity's limits are tested, and players must uncover secrets tied to cryptic figures like KB while battling across vast hostile environments. Unlike traditional MMOs, Plan 8 emphasizes shooter mechanics with RPG progression, loot-driven exploration, and cooperative missions, creating a hybrid experience that blends persistent online worlds with visceral combat. Early trailers showcased cinematic visuals, large-scale battles, and exosuit-enhanced mobility, positioning it as one of Pearl Abyss's most experimental projects. While development updates have been sparse, the studio continues to highlight its long-term vision for the title. Plan 8 does not yet have a confirmed release date, but it is expected to launch on PC and consoles worldwide. Blade Runner 2033 Labyrinth is an upcoming narrative adventure developed by Annapurna Interactive's internal studio in collaboration with Alcon Interactive Group, marking Annapurna's first in-house game and the first Blade Runner title since 1997. Directed by Chelsea Hash, the game is set in dystopian Los Angeles after the blackout, placing its events between Ridley Scott's 1982 classic and Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049, and about a year after the anime Blade Runner Black Lotus. Players step into the role of a former Blade Runner who lost his job during the blackout but is pulled back into service, navigating a noir-inspired investigation that blurs the line between reality and memory. The game emphasizes atmosphere, mystery, and psychological depth, with environments designed by artist Cosimo Galluzzi to capture the haunting, neon-lit cityscapes and moral ambiguity central to the franchise. Unlike action-heavy adaptations, Labyrinth focuses on narrative exploration, player choice, and immersive storytelling, aiming to expand the Blade Runner universe with fresh perspectives while staying true to its philosophical roots. Blade Runner 2033 Labyrinth is currently in development with no confirmed release date, but it is planned for PC and consoles. 007 First Light is the highly anticipated new James Bond video game from IO Interactive, the acclaimed studio behind the Hitman franchise. Originally teased as Project 007, the game has now been revealed as a standalone origin story that reimagines Bond's early years before earning his iconic License to Kill. Set in the aftermath of his Royal Navy service, players step into the role of a young, rebellious Bond recruited into MI6, navigating espionage missions that blend stealth, action, and cinematic storytelling. IO Interactive's proprietary Glacier engine powers the experience, promising richly detailed environments, dynamic AI, and the freedom to approach missions with gadgets, firearms, or pure improvisation. Unlike previous Bond adaptations, First Light is not tied to any film but instead draws inspiration from Ian Fleming's novels, offering a fresh narrative that expands the lore while staying true to the character's roots. With its mix of narrative depth, tactical gameplay, and modern presentation, the game aims to redefine Bond for a new generation of players. First Light is scheduled to release worldwide on March 27, 2026 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store.
Jet lag. Gets me every time.
She's not your friend, Bond. She's an asset.
ExeKiller is an upcoming retro-futuristic first-person action-adventure developed by Paradark Studio, blending Western aesthetics with a dystopian, post-apocalyptic alternate timeline. Players step into the role of Denzel Phoenix, a bounty hunter working for the powerful Helion Corporation, tasked with hunting down targets in a dangerous world where survival depends on skill, resourcefulness, and moral choices. The game emphasizes freedom of approach, allowing players to decide whether to kill, capture, or negotiate with their bounties, shaping the narrative and progression. Its retro-futuristic design combines neon-soaked cityscapes with desolate wastelands, creating a unique atmosphere that merges cyberpunk and Western influences. Combat features a mix of firearms, gadgets, and traversal mechanics, while story-driven missions highlight branching paths and player agency. ExeKiller has drawn comparisons to Deus Ex and Cyberpunk 2077 for its immersive storytelling and layered gameplay systems. Originally slated for 2025, the game's release has been delayed following publisher issues, but it remains in active development and is planned for launch on PC via Steam. Nivalis is an upcoming cyberpunk life simulation game developed by Ion Lands, the studio behind Cloudpunk, and published by 505 Games. Set in a sprawling neon-lit city built on the edge of the ocean, the game blends slice-of-life storytelling with immersive simulation, allowing players to run businesses, build relationships, and explore a vertical metropolis filled with secrets. Unlike traditional RPGs, Nivalis emphasizes everyday experiences, owning restaurants, bars, and clubs, managing staff, and interacting with diverse citizens, while also offering fishing, cooking, and apartment customization. The city itself is alive with dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and a richly detailed environment that evolves as players progress. Ion Lands promises a balance of narrative depth and sandbox freedom, where choices shape both personal stories and the broader cityscape. With its mix of cyberpunk atmosphere and life sim mechanics, Nivalis aims to deliver a unique, relaxing, yet immersive experience that expands on the world established in Cloudpunk. Nivalis is scheduled to release in spring 2025 on PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store. Neverness to Everness, NTE, is a supernatural urban open-world RPG developed by Hada Studio, the creators of Tower of Fantasy, and published by Perfect World Games. Set in a sprawling futuristic city plagued by anomalies, players take on the role of an anomaly hunter, gifted with extraordinary Esper abilities that allow them to freely navigate environments, combat mysterious threats, and uncover hidden truths. The game blends anime-inspired visuals with cutting-edge Unreal Engine 5 technology, offering fluid traversal, dynamic combat, and a living city filled with unexpected events. Narrative depth is emphasized through branching storylines and character-driven arcs, while gameplay showcases a mix of exploration, stealth, and large-scale battles against anomaly manifestations. A global beta test called the Containment Test ran in July 2025, giving players a first look at its mechanics and world building. With its mix of supernatural intrigue, open-world freedom, and stylish presentation, NTE is positioned as Hada Studio's most ambitious project yet. Neverness to Everness, NTE, is scheduled to release in 2026 on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC, and mobile platforms.
Don't forget the recipe!
Fable is the highly anticipated reboot of the beloved action RPG series, developed by Playground Games and published by Xbox Game Studios. Set once again in the whimsical yet morally complex world of Albion, the game promises to blend the franchise's signature humor, player choice, and fantastical storytelling with modern visuals powered by the Forza Tech engine. Directed by Ralph Fulton with writing led by Anna Magel, Fable is positioned as both a fresh start for newcomers and a nostalgic revival for longtime fans, emphasizing branching narratives where decisions shape the fate of characters and the world itself. Early previews highlight lush environments, dynamic combat, and a return to the series' hallmark of balancing lighthearted charm with darker undertones. Playground Games has assured fans that the reboot will capture the essence of the original trilogy while introducing contemporary mechanics and immersive world building. Fable is scheduled to release in 2026 for Windows PC and Xbox Series X and S.
It's like when you're young and you have a point to prove. I tell you, this kid, she had it all.
The Witcher 4 is the beginning of a brand new saga in CD Projekt Red's acclaimed dark fantasy RPG series, officially revealed at the Game Awards 2024 and currently in full production. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, the game promises the most ambitious open-world experience yet, set in the previously unexplored northern region of Kovir. Unlike past entries, The Witcher 4 shifts the spotlight to Ciri as the main protagonist, following her journey as a professional monster slayer after the events of The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. The narrative will explore her destiny, moral choices, and the consequences of wielding Elder Blood while introducing new factions, monsters, and political intrigue. CD Projekt has confirmed that this entry will be the first in a planned trilogy, aiming to release all 3 games within 6 years, supported by improved development pipelines and Unreal Engine 5's advanced world-building tools. While fans eagerly await gameplay footage, the studio has emphasized its focus on narrative depth, player agency, and technical innovation to redefine the Witcher universe for a new generation. The Witcher 4 is not expected before 2027 and will release on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a dark fantasy action RPG developed by Rebel Wolves, a studio founded by CD Projekt Red veterans including Konrad Tomaszkiewicz, director of The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Set in the Gothic 14th century kingdom of Vale Sangora, the game explores a world ravaged by plague and war, where vampires and other creatures of the night rise to claim dominance over weakened humanity. Players assume the role of Cohen, a Dawnwalker with both human and vampiric traits, navigating a morally complex narrative that emphasizes freedom of choice and emergent storytelling. Unlike traditional RPGs, the game has no fixed main quest. Instead, players build their own experience through quests, alliances, and exploration, echoing pen-and-paper RPGs in design philosophy. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, it promises cinematic visuals, branching narratives, and immersive combat with a strong focus on atmosphere and player agency. The Blood of Dawnwalker is scheduled to release in 2026 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Is out there watching, seeping into you, growing.
GTA 6 is Rockstar Games' most ambitious open-world project to date. Set in the fictional state of Leonida, a modern reimagining of Florida with Vice City as its centerpiece. The game follows protagonists Lucia and Jason in a Bonnie and Clyde-inspired narrative, blending crime, survival, and dynamic storytelling across a vast living world. Rockstar has showcased cutting-edge AI, improved physics, and unprecedented environmental detail, including bustling cityscapes, rural backroads, swamps, and beaches, all designed to evolve with player actions. The game introduces enhanced NPC behavior, a more immersive economy, and seamless transitions between single-player and online modes, promising a generational leap in interactivity. Trailers highlight car chases, robberies, and neon-soaked nightlife, while leaks have revealed refined animations and expanded customization systems. With its scale, realism, and narrative depth, GTA 6 is positioned as the most significant entertainment release of the decade. GTA 6 is officially scheduled to release worldwide on November 19th, 2026 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, with PC expected later.
You and me, Lou. We got this.
We got it.
And that's the list. If even half of these games live up to the hype, we're gonna have zero free time left. And honestly, I'm kinda okay with that. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, maybe subscribe if you vibe with the content, and let me know which open world game you're most excited for. I'll catch you in the next one.